Yeah, yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. It said I liked school. It didn't really tell me that much.
Yeah.
And then that led to me thinking about writing programs, and I didn't know if I could do it. And I also thought, well, there's no point. I can't do it if I'm going to go into debt because that's just going to make my life harder. And so I started looking, researching, and then I had to take the GREs, which is the hardest test in the world because I never had logic in college. There was math that I'd never gotten, but I decided to apply to USC.
Oh, you did the USC writing thing. Oh, after the carpal tunnel.
No, I mean,
No.
it was kind of
You applied to
during.
USC for what?
Well, yeah, in their writing program. I gotta get that.
To get your master's, yeah.
Yeah, and I knew I didn't want to move. Oh, I should explain that on camera. You know, I was really ideally looking for a writing and a performance program, and I didn't want to move back east. So I actually applied to 2 programs. I applied to the World Arts and Culture program at UCLA, which is a dance program, but I knew that they had performance artists in it. And that was my most I Love Lucy moment. When I had to audition for the World Arts and Culture program, I'm with 21-year-olds who've been dancing their whole life. You know, even in the warm-ups, I'm thinking, oh my God. And so we had to do dance auditions. And the first one, I don't know, it was, you know, some complicated Brazilian thing. And I, you know, unless you're used to doing that, I couldn't even pick up. So I was the last one, and I was the worst one. And you're wearing this big number on you, you know, and so I had to get to the back of the line. And then I did that, and then there was something else we had to do, and I couldn't follow that either. And then there was a free-form thing, but I thought I'm going to get in when I audition with my own work. And they had kind of discouraged me. But I thought, I don't know, I can't pick between one or the other. So I didn't get in. Yeah, I didn't get in. And it was for the best, yeah. So I got into the writing program.
So you did an MFA?
Yeah.
Yes.
And meanwhile, I think that's right when I started. And I ended up having to defer for a year. I got in, and I was so afraid of having to be sent back to my old work where, you know, the boss treated me abysmally, and she never even asked how I was. She just kept saying, "Are you coming back to work?" Yeah. And so I felt like I'd go into a nunnery rather than go back there. And so I thought, oh, if I just go into the writing program, then she can't make me go back. But I couldn't hold a pen. I wouldn't even have been able to write or type. So I deferred it for a year, and then that's when Nancy Agabian left Beyond Baroque, and I thought, they're not going to have any writing performance workshops. Not that I thought I could do it, not that I thought I'd want to do it. The only thing my mother told me not to do was to be a teacher, because she was a, you know, burned out second grade teacher. But what I had figured out was, I can't use my body, I'm going to have to use my brain for whatever job I have. So I thought, okay, Nancy's leaving, I'll just try it. I will try it. I think I charged $140 for 8 weeks, so I was charging next to nothing. And I really had to rally the artistic director to let him give me a chance to teach it, even though I was charging next to nothing. And then I started interviewing teachers I know about exercises, because I didn't know how to do this. And so the first day, the only difficult thing was opening the lock to the door at Beyond Baroque. Within the first 30 minutes of the first workshop that I was leading, I just thought, I want more of this. And at the end of that session, I just thought, what is this? What is this? And I thought, oh my God, this is the same feeling of when you feel like you're in love. And so that was it.
Opening the door was a physical or an emotional problem?
No, it was just it was jams. That was the only hard thing about teaching, was just actually getting the door open.
How did you get over your carpal tunnel?
I had to wear braces, and I had, well, I hate needles, but I had acupuncture, and it really took 2 years And then also, there was such a emotional component, so I didn't even feel like myself until literally 3 or 4 years later.
And how is your wrist?
Well, sometimes my hands will get sore, but I can do whatever I need to do. I mean, luckily I didn't have nerve damage. I mean, they're not the same as they were, but and I can't write longhand for a long time. They'll start hurting, but it's very, very minor, relatively.
So what have you found is important for creating a good writing workshop?
For people to be nurtured, for people to feel safe, and to get back in touch with play and not being worried that you're going to do it wrong. And I found, when I was a student, that encouragement goes a million miles. And I also didn't realize until 6 months after I was teaching that all I had done, for the previous 10 years was take workshops. And so I didn't realize this whole time, there's hardly a person in LA that I haven't taken a workshop with. So I didn't realize I'd been preparing for this job for a long time.
And what are the important dynamics to establish in a class? Because I've taken writing classes all my life too, and they can go off the rails so easily. So.
Well, I think it's, first of all, the thing that I learned both from Nancy and Dennis is that it has to be led, and that the feedback has to be guided if the class is going to get feedback, because well-intentioned feedback can still shut you down. And so, that's why I pass out guidelines to my workshops. And the thing that I learned from Nancy, which is such a wonderful concept, is that feedback is a gift. And also feedback is only there to help the writer keep going. So I actually had the benefit both of, I learned a lot about giving critiques and also having a good editing eye when I was in the writing program, as well as knowing how to gauge. If somebody's a baby writer, you just want to get them writing. People always want to go to structure, they always want to learn all that stuff, and all that does is weigh you down. And so I really used my own model of the more experienced writer I became, then the more I learned about structure and the dynamics, because the most wonderful thing is to find out, oh my God, the pen is moving, it's not stopping. That was a miracle to me, for somebody who was so shut down. Everybody has to feel safe, because you're taking a risk by creating. Creativity is about the unknown. So everyone has to feel that they are being supported and that they're not going to be judged. And I also like to do really playful exercises to get back to that sense of fun that we lose after we're children. That, we want to be good, and then that takes over everything, and then we end up grinding instead of trusting your instincts.
How did you learn to judge how much to push someone, like when they're telling you stories about where they couldn't write or whatever it is? How did you develop that? Just
well, that
experience?
that actually came really easy, and I actually really love kind of helping. I can diagnose, and then I can usually help them overcome the obstacles, and also for them to know that by talking about whatever their challenges or obstacles or fears are, it helps the whole group. So it really opens it up. But usually just by getting them to talk, I can tell what the problem is and what kind of pressure they're putting on themselves. And then it's wonderful to, then have them break through. I know that people want to go to structure because they can control then the writing, and creativity is about the unknown. So that's the leap of faith. And it's just usually really clear when somebody